What's up, guys? Welcome back to Let's Get Weird, the podcast with me, your host, Sam Altieri. Today, we have on the show Shannon Jamail, and she is a multi-passionate entrepreneur, a therapist turned mentor, best-selling author, podcast host, and founder of Retreat Ranch, a 40-acre retreat center right outside of Austin, Texas, which is actually how I met her, and we recorded this episode at her ranch in one of the barns. It is an absolutely incredible property. So if you are in Texas or want to go on a retreat, definitely go check out all of her stuff. All of her information will be in the show notes of this episode. Not only is she super multi-passionate and the founder of Retreat Ranch, but she actually helps people lead successful retreats. And she lives on the ranch with her family in the hill countries of Texas. This conversation that I had with her weaves in stories about the power of trusting the micro nudges from the universe, following your gut even when it doesn't make sense, and how to bring the gigantic vision on your heart to life. So without further ado, let's dive into the conversation and let's get weird.
Okay.
We're here.
We are
Hi.
here. We're at the Retreat Ranch.
We are. And it's only, 20 something degrees, which is not normal.
It's okay. It's giving me a new experience of Texas.
Texas has different experiences based on the time of year. And then don't get too comfortable because you might come here and it's 20 degrees today and tomorrow it'll be 80. So
Yeah. Well, I was like running in shorts and a tank top like yesterday. And
Yeah.
I'm like, this is amazing. Especially coming from Colorado.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Well, like I mentioned, I grew up in Ohio. So for me, I'm like, this is not winter, y'all, but it is for Texas. It's winter. So it's a little chilly out.
Yeah. Well, thanks for inviting me to the Retreat Ranch.
I'm so excited you're here.
So cool. Our mutual friend and someone that came to your retreat ran an ultra with me, connected us. So cool.
I know. And
I
I'm
know.
already in love with you. So this is
Samesies.
awesome.
I know. Just like you giving me the tour of this place. I'm like, oh my God, this is like a wet dream.
See? Oh, you are my girl.
You guys, if you're in, where are we?
We're in Marble Falls.
Marble Falls, Texas. Yeah.
Yeah. Just outside of Austin. So
Yeah.
in the hill country of Texas.
Yeah.
It's
Retreat
really
Ranch.
pretty.
Okay, like, so can you just tell me as a newbie to your ranch, like, what was before anything was built, like, what was the initial kind of vision and why did you even want to do this?
Yeah.
Like, how did you get into retreats?
So I've been doing retreats for over 15 years, and they first started off really just focused on health, mental health and physical health. My day job used to be a mental health therapist. And so it was really very much like I saw the need for this. And a retreat format allows you to like step away from the day-to-day challenges, the chaos, the heaviness, and then be able to maybe do some of the deep work, right? And so that's how they started. And I knew within the first year that I wanted to open up my own place. But of course, just finding the right place and the right time and, all the things. But through the course of me looking for a place, my retreats have changed. And so they went from kind of a therapeutic space into more of this is for anyone who just wants to set their stress down and then learn how to maybe keep it down. And go back, to their everyday life with new tools, but mainly they experience so much joy and laughter, which how often do we do that in our day-to-day life, especially if you're juggling the things, whatever the things are, we're all juggling them. And so they've kind of transitioned from therapeutic to just stress relief and fun.
I love that.
Yeah. And so.
And your horses.
And my horses. Yeah. They're just, the place that we created is literally, like I dreamed of this space, but I didn't. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I knew in my head some of the aspects that I wanted, but before we bought this property, we actually bought a property in California.
No way.
Yeah, we bought 20 acres in Temecula, California. It was wine country, overlooked this lake, and I was like, "This is the place, right?"
Yeah.
But it's so funny because when I think back, I'm like, at the time I was so excited about the place, but I never felt it in my body.
Ooh, that's a code right there.
It was. I was excited, right? I really was. I was so excited. I could see the potential. I knew what I wanted to have here, but it never vibrated. And I don't know, those of you who are woo like me, and I don't like using that word to be honest with you, but if you are on that wavelength, you know what I mean. And so it didn't vibrate, but I still knew like, this is going to be amazing. And so it fell apart. California, God bless it. It just, environmental laws and all this stuff. And so we found out that we couldn't build on there because there was a protected species. And so it was just this whole legal nightmare. So fast forward to we're like, okay, maybe not there. And so we're like, let's just go back to Texas because that's where we had come from.
Yeah.
But just not to Dallas, which is where we were. Let's go to the hill country. And we looked at several properties. And so this property, believe it or not, when we got here, you couldn't even drive on it. Like
really,
I couldn't see the property. All we could do is get into this one makeshift driveway-ish thing. There was a ground that was cut out and a somewhat of a gate. And so we could get like barely drive through this gate and you park there, and then we would fly a drone. And then me and my husband walked through the trees and like the bushes and was like trying to get to the back of the property, which we never did when we first purchased it. But here's what I'll tell you. When we drove through this makeshift shitty gate and like got out of this truck that the realtor was bringing us on, and I stepped on this land, I was like, what was that? I'm
I
not
have goosebumps.
kidding you guys. I felt it. Which is so weird because all the other properties we looked at had like structures and like beauty, and this had like trees.
It looked like
jungle.
Nothing, but it felt.
I get chills. I felt it vibrate in my body. And so I was like, what is this? And so anyway, we knew though that we were biting off like this huge thing. We had to put roads, we had to put electrical, we had to put septic, we had to put water, like we had to do all these things. And here we are today. So yes, like I envisioned, I knew I wanted a retreat center, but I didn't envision this. You know what I'm saying? And that's that whole, what I tell people too, like when you're manifesting something, try not to tie to like a very specific image, tied to what you want to feel. What is the feeling you want to achieve in this dream of yours? And that vibration, when I landed on this earth, on this piece of earth here that I'm at now, that's what I was wanting to feel.
Yes.
And so anyway, so here we are, and we're 46 acres. We sleep 32 people, and we have horse activities. We have other, animals, goats and chickens and all kinds of, dogs and cats and rabbits. And we have art activities, and we're constantly building and adding to it. As I told you, we're building an art house, and we're going to have pottery here.
I can't wait to come back and what is it called? Spin pottery?
Yeah, pottery wheel.
You're
going to throw. You're going to throw on it. Yes.
It's kind of funny that that's the term. I'm going to throw pottery.
Yeah, I never really understood that because the only thing I can tell you is that when you make a mistake, it does like fly right off the wheel.
Yes, I have done that. I'm like, oh, okay.
So maybe it's like throwing clay at each other, but. Yeah, so here we are, and I'm so glad you got to come see it.
I am too. So Jess, shout out to Jess if you're listening to this episode.
Thank you,
Thank you
Jess.
for connecting us. When she told me about this place, I was like, oh my God, because Kurt and I have been talking about maybe we want a campground, maybe we want some space with land with dwelling units, but we are not at all in the place of building something like this. So it's so cool because I know that in like 10 years, I'm going to like be texting you and be like, yo, it's whatever's happening. Because I feel like we always get these like foreshadowing signs of like what's to come. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And I remember when I went on my first retreat, I was like, wait, this is a thing that people do? Like you pay money, you go to a place and you just enjoy yourself. Like that was so far removed for me. And then once I started going on retreats, I know that changed my life. And then I was like, I need to bring people together. And I know you feel the same way of like attending retreats, hosting retreats, and just how nothing matches in person.
Totally agree. I totally agree with you.
There's an energy thing, you know, like even like texting you and you texting me, it's not like a big, there's an exchange, cool. But when you get in person, you're like, oh, yeah. And it's that feeling of like aliveness you were talking about in your body.
Yes. All of that. 100% all of that. And so I don't know. When people come here, I'm like, do you feel it like I feel it? And really, actually, they tell me when they get here. And so for you though, I'm going to tell you right now that I wouldn't put that 10-year number because you just never know.
Yeah, it's true.
You know,
it's true. But it's for me, it feels like it's something that I'm excited for, but not even right now.
Yeah.
Being here, I'm like, this is amazing and I can't wait to come. And I don't want this right now, you know? So it also gives you clarity, like having expanders, like you're an expander for me and what maybe a part of the vision that we want to build. But it's also just even in the whatever hour I've been here, I'm like, this is fucking epic. And this is not what I want to do right now. Like,
Totally.
So that gave me clarity because I told Kurt that too, because we started looking at big land and I'm like, Kurt, are you really down to do that? Oh yeah. You want to pause?
Can we pause?
Yeah.
Are
you good?
That person, I'm going to land on you.
Yeah, no problem. No, you're fine.
Sorry, we're doing a live recording. Let me take you. No, you're fine. I don't want to get in and mess it off something. You're fine. Up there he is right there. All right. Line my children back there? Nope. Oh, she's there. Enjoy, love.
I know you're good. This is the power of post-production.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay.
But no, it's given me so much clarity on like having a vision, knowing you want to do something, but also like the power of timing.
And
You're right.
that is okay. So I feel like we have to talk about that because we were supposed to connect like 2 months ago.
Yep.
And we had a call on the calendar, and then your kid got sick.
Yep.
And then we just got lost in email because like email
and holidays.
Yes, holidays. And then you re-messaged me, was like, hey, let's reconnect. And then we talked like a week ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, actually, I'm going to be in Texas next week.
And an hour away.
Yes, we should just hang out in person. And then it was the most easy, divine unfolding ever. And it's like anytime something that doesn't look like it's in your favor is happening, it's always because there's something better.
Yeah, it's always in your favor.
Yes.
You're right. Because if it, and even if it hadn't meant to be for whatever reason, which I'm not a fan of that because I'm loving this, like, and loving you, but then it wasn't meant to be. But I agree with you. Like, everything happens for a reason. Like the 20 acres in California, like that it happened that way for a reason.
Yes.
And we learned so much from it, and we learned what we didn't want. And like, there were so many good things that happened despite the nightmarish of the time of it. But now I look back on it with so much gratitude.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have had horses there. I wouldn't have had, there's so many things I would not have been able to have in that space. And so it's just, timing it's always right.
Yes.
So whether it's 10 years or 2 years.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be 2 years. I'll be like, yo, actually, we said fucking bought land. But
I'm all about it.
Also just being able to change your mind. You know what I mean? You're like, actually, no, I actually did change my mind on this, you know?
Yeah, that's totally following your intuition, which I love that because I can tell that that's something that you're really passionate about. It's just like, this feels right, so let's go this direction. Whether it's in your van or in your business or in your life in general, like, this feels right. And I'll be honest, for the longest time, I didn't follow that intuition. I could feel it, but I just didn't follow it. And I went the way that either I should myself to death or what other people might have been pushing me for or all the things. And so it's probably only been the last maybe 10 years that I'm like, no.
Yeah.
This is what I'm feeling. This is what we're doing. However we get there.
Yeah.
And so intuition is all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And it's why we're here today. You know?
It is.
Because I had a little thing when Jess told me about you, and then that was the end of the conversation. And then I was like, hey, will you connect me with that woman? Like, I just had this little nudge that was like, you need to talk with her or go. I don't know. I didn't know what.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need to know the like 10 steps, but I was like, okay. And then she did. And then I messaged you, and then here we are. So,
yeah.
And it's kind of wild in hindsight when you think about your life. It's like, that's all it is. Just trusting these little nudges. But it takes it takes so much time to trust those nudges because we are so conditioned to not.
Yeah.
To like not trust
and
ourselves.
there's so much noise.
Yeah.
So can you be quiet enough to even hear the nudge or hear the intuition, you know? And I think that even applies to like one of the things we want to talk about today, which is retreats and events and holding space for people. It's like, I think there's a lot of people out there who hear that or think that or feel that, but then like, do I trust that? What does that even mean? What does that look like? And I know it was that way for me when I first started. It was like, you know, do you do a partner? And I did a couple partners throughout my career, and that didn't work out, but it did, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though it didn't work out, it did. And so the intuition part is so important when it comes to any decision that you're making. And that just requires you to get quiet.
Yeah. Which is like the power of retreats. Like, it's funny because I invested like $60K into a business mastermind over the last year.
Nice.
And the only reason why I decided to join the specific one that I did is because it had 4 built-in retreats.
Yep.
And I'm somebody who's like, convenience. Like, if you're going to plan it all for me, I will show up. And I'm like, for me, it's worth it to pay basically $15K per retreat, which is, some people can think that's a lot. But for me, I'm like, I will 100x that ultimately, whether it's in a year or 10 years. It's more about, I know that I just need curated time for me. I need to be held and receive because I'm always giving.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have to, and not even like, a lot of people are like, I need to, you know, be the embodiment of what I teach. It's not even that. It's just that I know that I need that.
You just need to plug in and be recharged. Yes. And not have to think about how that's going to happen.
Exactly. All I have to do is go on my app, book a flight, and show up. And that is amazing. The feeling of relief in our body, especially as women, when we're like holding all this space and holding people and teaching people, and then you get to go receive yourself. You're like, oh my God, this is like orgasmic. Like, just give me some food and I'm so happy sitting on a beach chair.
All of it. All of that. But you nailed it because you're receiving, right? But you will 10x it because when you come out of that space, you are so on fire.
I just got back from Bahamas.
See?
From one of the retreats. Yes. And my vision got so much bigger. Like for my agency, for Voice and Visibility,
Yes.
I was like, oh, it's a podcast and PR agency and we launch podcasts and we help you monetize. And then I left there being, no, Voice and Visibility is a motherfucking talent agency and we
Yes.
support the world's top talent. That is a much bigger vision than I help you launch your podcast. It's not
Yeah.
just that. Yes, we do that too.
Yes.
But we are literally,
And we
yes,
also.
exactly. And that and makes me, I'm like, holy shit, this business is so big. It actually terrifies me and excites me and all the things. I'm like, the woman I'm going to have to be, the leader, the CEO, the person, the boundaries, the team I'm building, like that's going to require a totally different version of me, but I'm excited to do that.
Yeah.
Scared, but like in a good way, like scared because I know like, oh, okay, you know, and I'm just going to take that nervousness and turn it into excitement.
Yes.
But if I wouldn't have had the space in my life or the pattern interrupt to get that bigger vision, if I didn't pay $15K for a retreat,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. And first of all, I want to say, like, anybody who feels like 15,000 is too expensive, that's just, here's what I say when it comes to price of anything, then it's just not your thing. Like,
Yeah.
there's somebody who is like, that's cheap for them,
For
believe it
sure.
or not. Like, there's
For
people
sure.
who will pay $50,000 for a retreat,
100%.
right? And so I'm super passionate about this for people who are listening, because people get so caught in that price thing and they just devalue themselves so much, especially women. And it's not meant to be sexist. It just is what it is. And so I love that you're like, this is an investment. I get to show up and be recharged, nurtured, and blow up when you leave. Like literally glow up is probably even the better word. I don't know. But
Yeah.
I love that so much. And I also love that what you said about your business that you're growing, that it's like you're scared and nervous and you know what it's going to require of you and how you're going to have to match that level of what you want to achieve. And I love everything about that. That's the same for retreats when you're building a retreat business too.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like it's all connected. Like when you're building something big and you know that it's going to require some, we'll just say it, some balls, our girl
Yeah.
balls, which are bigger than boy balls.
Some fucking grit,
Yes,
you know, and resilience.
yes. Yeah. And that's so exciting. And it is terrifying. And that, I bet you feel it in your body. And when you're like, that whole thing is on fire, then you know you're going down the right path. And it's all about, you know, following it, even doing it afraid. Like I'm a big fan of do it afraid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've been really playing with this term called being in your discomfort zone, which is like right on the edge, right? It's like we
Yes.
don't want to push the nervous system so far that you like shut down, but you also don't want to be in your comfort zone. So
Yeah.
it's like riding that edge. It's
Yeah.
like, now we're going sexual, but it's like edging, you know? It's like
Oh, yeah.
right there, but
Right
not
before,
there. Yeah.
Like right before and then pull back. And then right before.
But that's like what it is. I'm like, I feel like that's the most sustainable way to grow is right on the edge where you're like, oh, fuck, you know, like it's not so much that you send your nervous system into like an unsafe state, but it's uncomfortable,
Yeah.
you know, and we were talking about running earlier. It's
Yes.
the same thing. Like I'm training for a run, you're training for a run.
Yep.
It doesn't feel good in my body all the time when we're fucking doing these training runs, but after I feel amazing, and I'm sure you do too.
Yeah, we were just talking about that with my group, my little running group that we like, you know, constantly bug each other. And I'm like, the other day I ran and it was 22 degrees and I
Oh
thought,
my God.
this is fucking stupid. Like who does this?
I need to borrow inspiration from you because I'm not there yet.
No,
with, like,
no.
running in the
I
cold.
wasn't either. I was supposed to do 8 miles that day. And at mile 4, I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like I'm done.
That's aggressive.
It was. But I'll tell you, when I got my car, I still was like, that was still awesome.
Yeah.
In my car, I
Yeah,
said this,
yeah,
not while
yeah.
I was out doing it. But in my car, I even though I only did the 4 miles, I got in there and I was like, yeah, but you know, 6 months ago, I wouldn't have even done half a mile
yeah.
out in that
Yeah.
ridiculous temperature. And almost every time I run, I'll be honest, during the run, I'm like, "Ugh."
Mhm.
And every single time though, afterwards, I am lit up. And I will tell you, and I've told my community, I have been a better person since I've been on that edge that you're talking about. I have
Yes.
literally been a better wife. I've been a better mother. I've been a better business person. Like you step up somehow.
Yeah.
Doing something like that, whether it's a run or whether it's a business or whether it's whatever it is that puts you on that edge, you literally step up in all areas of your life. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, it's like showing up for yourself in a new way. Like
Yeah.
it's part of the reason why I signed up for my first ultra was because I was like, I'm terrified and I hate running. That was the
hate
reason.
running too!
I was like, I'm gonna sign up for this fucking insane run because I hate running. Like who does that? But because I know how the mind works. Like if you, the more stimulus you give it and the more it will stretch your capacity, you know? And
Yeah.
that was my intention going into it. I'm like, can I scale 2 companies and run an ultra marathon? All right, let's see.
Yeah.
And it fucking worked. I swear
Yeah.
that the running gave me and actually just made me stop thinking and getting in my head, you know, like where we want to sabotage ourselves and shit.
Which also calms the nervous system down.
Right.
You know, exactly. I love I'm so in love with how you talked about that whole edge thing, because it is people. So I teach stress reduction. It's one of my specialties. And I try to tell people, you can't not have stress. And then actually that would be bad for you. And that's when people are like, let's just say they're so loaded up on some sort of medication that they're completely numb. Yeah. Like you lose all the goodness of the stress. There is something called eustress, and it's good stress. And you need that. You need that for achieving. You need that for challenge. You need that for growth. You have to have, you have to have stress. And so being on that edge, but having something, whether it's running, meditating, yoga, swimming, whatever it is, going for a walk with your dog, it doesn't matter. You have to have that to, one, bring you back a little bit from that edge, but to calm your nervous system. And when you do that, you achieve more in all areas of your life. You can think clearly because your amygdala is calmed down in your brain. So this this little area right here, the prefrontal cortex, can start to make decisions again. And so it's been so powerful. And I love it because I hate running too. I hate it. What the hell am I doing? I hate it. And so it's just, I find so much joy though in the fact that like I'm doing something that I absolutely hate, but I'm being motivated and I've got a team and there's accountability and all of that stuff. Cause I do think you have to include some of those things when you're challenging yourself. But, and obviously I don't hate it so much that I'm not doing it, but you get the idea.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also just think it makes you like, entrepreneurship is not for everyone. And it really does show you like, do you have what it takes, because like you have to do things when you don't feel like it. Like that's just what it is. Yeah. And it's the same with running. Yeah. Like, because for me, something that actually motivates me is like thinking about, okay, race day, I don't want to feel like shit, and I don't want to perform awful, and I don't want to be like kicking myself like, fuck, I wish I trained better. Yeah. I don't want that.
I'm the same. My race is in 2 weeks, actually from today it's in 2 weeks. Yeah. And so you're gonna crush. I am, damn it. I first don't want to fail myself, and fail's not the right word, but I don't want to let myself down, but I also don't want to let my teammates down, that we're all together doing this and we've all been training. And so, but first and foremost, it's me. Like I know what I can do, and I know what I can do when I push myself, and I know, right? And so that's first and foremost. And then the accountability with partners and friends and community, all of that stuff is just adds value and adds good stuff to it. But it's all about, it's that edge, girl. I'm going to use that. I'm stealing it from you.
Go for it.
I love it.
It's, for me, I see it like is it like a pie, like a multi-layered pie? It's like your window of tolerance, right? And it's like, I'm not going to go like super sciencey, but your nervous system needs to be able to expand and stretch. Van life's something that made my nervous system. Oh my God.
I can imagine.
Just the shit that went down. Like, it's crazy. I'll start sharing more stories, I think, on the show eventually, because I'm like, I think I'm still like in shock that I even ran a company and did van life.
You have to sometimes speak from a scar, not an open wound.
I'm like, it was amazing. Like, don't get me wrong. I would wake up in the morning, go for my runs, jump in a lake, and then work. But not knowing where you're going to sleep, or having unstable Wi-Fi or whatever is just dysregulating. It's just what it is. So, but when you have the ability to regulate your nervous system and to push yourself and show up for yourself when you have excuses, it actually does start to change who you are. Yeah. And then when, like you were talking about, like, your amygdala and your brain functioning, also as highly creative people and highly intuitive people, when our like channel is clear, our body is clear, we can start to receive so many more insights and messages. And I swear my like psychic abilities have like 10x, 100x even. I can see things, I know things so much more clearly. Wow. and like with more detail. And I'm like, I think it's just because I don't have as much like gunk in me. I'm moving so much energy when we're highly sensitive or we pick up on other people's stuff. That's just, I feel like it's like you're like a walking, what are those things, like the lint rollers? Yes. We're a walking lint roller, and like we pick up people's like trash, 100%. And then you rip off the lint roller, which is equivalent to going for a run or moving your body. And then you feel whole and clean again. And it's magical. And so I'm super fascinated right now in the connection between energy and emotions and moving the body like intensely and entrepreneurship. Yeah. Because I think that most entrepreneurs that have a pretty like rigorous physical fitness regimen are so much more
aligned.
aligned and in tune and can just fucking make moves. Like they're already in motion.
Yeah.
Physically. So.
Yeah. And I want to say it doesn't have to be running even.
No.
It could be weightlifting. It could be boxing. But I do think it has to stress you.
Yes. I do too.
And not that you can't get stressed in yoga or meditation or walking.
You need to do something
but
hard.
You really have to do something where while you're doing it, you're like, oh, this almost sucks, or it does suck. But you have to be like on that edge even of this. I don't want to do this almost when you're doing it. That's my belief. Yeah. And then when you come out the other side, you are so much clearer, so much lighter. Nobody's saying though you need to go and like bench press yourself into injury. We're just saying it has to be hard. I do believe that you have to push yourself. And so, for me, I do intervals. And so I'm always kind of like, can I shave off 1 second off of my time? You know, can I shave off 10 seconds, whatever it is. And so that way, if I do get comfortable, I'm going to get back into that uncomfortable state that you mentioned, to me. So I 100% agree with you that, not to mention, let's just talk about longevity. Let's talk about overall health. I mean, that's all the other stuff, my parents are aging and they're aging very poorly because they make incredibly terrible health choices on so many levels. And watching them, I'm like, I'm not going to be 60 and 70 and 80 and having a hard time just getting up to go to the fucking bathroom. Like I'm not. And so there's that element too. So that's just a whole life element. But as far as performance and intuition and clearing spaces and making business decisions and leveling up, you got to do hard shit. Yeah, I feel it. You have to do hard shit. There's people who will do the opposite, say, no, you have to be going with the flow and all that. Well, you still can be in the flow. You still can be in intuition.
I would say that we are both in the flow,
100%.
but also in our leadership. It's like, I think that's what self-leadership is. It's like, and you're a space holder. I'm a space holder. Like I bring people together. So do you. Yeah. Being able to actually be in your power, which is being connected to your body. When you are in that, people can feel it. And there's like a visceral frequency that people who are powerful hold. And people just naturally will respect you, and like they want to gather with you. They trust you. Yes. And I think that's the big piece is trust. Yes. In sales and anything. And whenever you're offering anything, if you don't trust yourself, how do you expect other people to trust you? And 100%. It's like when you trust yourself to go for a run when you don't feel like it, and you're like, damn, I'm proud of me. I did that for me. I feel fucking good. That translates into everything in relationships, business, all of it.
It does. Yes. And it really does go back to that whole thing, like your van life you talked about, and you'll probably share more and more. There's been some probably real ass times where you're like, this is BS. Like, right? Oh yeah. And I know it's super cheesy and cliche, but it made you a stronger person, period. So now when shit's going to come at you with this new company that you're building and you're kicking ass on it, and like shit's just going to be coming at you like the hail at your, like hail just pelting you, you're going to be like, bring it. Yeah. You're going to step up to it.
It definitely phases me way less. And I actually said this to a friend. I was like, I do think van life was like entrepreneurship, like training. Yeah. Because, there was like times where, I mean, like just shit hit the fan. Or imagine like living with the person that you love like this close all the time.
It ain't happening.
No. Same. And I did it for 3 years. Okay. The rock solidness that Kurt and I now have in our relationship is unreal. I'm like, we have worked out anything ever.
There wasn't space to have anything like not.
No, I couldn't walk away. About. Yeah. I couldn't. We had to face it, and it was ugly at times. It was like very not cute. And I didn't even know that was all there. But when you're this close to someone, you get annoyed with them, you say shit, you do things. And now I can say, I'm like, I don't even like talking about a relationship because I feel like people that boast about their relationship all the time have really fucked up relationships.
Oh my gosh, I think the same thing. My husband and I is always like, you never talk about me. I'm like, and I'm not gonna, because I 100% agree with you.
But I'm like, anyone that meets Kurt or sees us interact, and just if you were to take a little bug camera and put it behind the scenes, like we are such a team.
I love that.
Because we had to become one or we were going to break up. Yeah. Like truly. And there was a moment in the van where I was like, I think maybe I need to get an Airbnb and you should just take the van and we need to like
take space.
This is so much. Yeah. This is too intense for me. And we worked through it, thank God. But if we hadn't hit that like precipice of like all the inner child's unresolved shit, basically, that's what it was. And we didn't have the common goal of coming together and like being together, we wouldn't be together, And I'm so grateful that it happened when it did, because now I'm like, okay, cool. Now we can get on with our lives and like really be deep devoted partnership with each other and not have drama, not have unresolved shit, and not have, oh, my inner child's triggered because you said this and I took it personally.
Y'all took 10 years and condensed it down to like 2 or 3, probably a year when you really like take all the pieces of all the things that you guys have been through.
Yeah.
I can only come not even really close, but this close when my husband and I lived in the RV for 6 months as we were building our house on the property.
Yeah, so you know.
And our RV was at least a little bigger, but I will say we did have 2 kids and dogs in the RV with us,
chaos.
2 teenagers. And so
oh my God, teenagers.
I sat outside a lot and stared at the sky. Even when it was like 110, I was like, oh, dear baby Jesus. But so I have a tiny, tiny little appreciation in that 6 months of like, that was a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I've talked to a lot of entrepreneurs who did van life and quit after like a year.
Yeah.
They're like, I could not do it. And there was a point about a year in where I was like, Kurt, we're done. We are done. I love you, but we're done. Fuck this shit. It's not what Instagram and Pinterest and all these places make it out to be. Yes, it's beautiful, but it is awful and probably not even healthy to live in such close proximity with someone all of the time.
Yeah.
Right. And even when you go outside, but then you don't have your, I never had my own space. I
Yeah.
didn't have my hygiene. Like I felt like it was just
all your junk's out, girl. Literally.
Oh,
well, you showed me your toilet. So you're literally like, unless someone steps outside, you're
literally-
taking a dump right there.
I had
Like,
to shit
hi.
in front of Kurt. I never thought I would ever have to do that. I was like, this is not cute. I was like, why would you want to have sex with me after I shit in front of you?
Well, that's why I'm saying I have a tiny little taste because we did have bathrooms that like the door shut.
Oh my
But
God.
I cannot imagine. But I also think like, I mean, you've said it, like it literally made your entrepreneurship so much better and stronger. It made your relationship so much better and stronger. I think that there was so much beauty. Glennon Doyle is like her word I just love. And it probably didn't come from her, but it's like that brutal, right? So it's brutal
I love
plus
that.
beautiful.
I actually haven't heard of that.
No?
I love her. I love her book.
Oh yeah. So her word that I've adopted is that part of your life was brutal. Like there was some really, probably some of the lows and some of the high of the highs.
Yeah.
But that's like so cool.
Yeah. It's like, I think that's the ultimate place to be. It's also the discomfort zone.
Yes.
It fucking sucks and it's painful, but this is amazing. And it's a reminder I'm alive. Like I felt that way yesterday. I did like a 6.5 mile run because I'm prepping for my race in March. So I don't know how many weeks I am out. I'm not in as much structure in my training this time. And I'm like, okay, yeah, my body is fucking tired and a little bit in pain. And I think I'm getting blisters on my feet and I want to stop, but I'm not stopping because it's getting dark. Like that was my thing. I was like, sunset's in an hour. I need to bust this shit out. And so it like made me go faster, but I was like, after it, I was like, Kurt, I'm amazing. You just feel
total
so
power
good.
posing.
Yeah.
Like you were in it. So I had one of those, and I was in Tulum. I was holding space. I was hosting a retreat in Tulum, and it was my first time I ever had to do like real mileage. So I had to do 8 miles. Y'all, fuck all of you guys that run on the beach and make it look like a dream and like the magazines taking your picture and it's like your hair's flowing. I was a hot, sweaty, snotty, disgusting mess on the Tulum beaches every morning, and especially on my 8 mile day. And I
ran 8 miles on the sand,
girl. Okay. And in the humidity, can we just talk about what I look like? Okay. It just was a mess.
Oh
And
my God.
I just remember when I was done, I'm not going to lie. I had to stop at the 7 miles and just like sit down for a minute. But when I was done, I just remember walking like on these shaky legs back, and I'm like, how am I going to hold space? But girl, do you not know once I took a shower, I was a badass bitch that day. You know what I mean?
Invigorated.
Yeah, but I didn't look like any of those people that were running on the beach all like gorgeous and like it looks like
but
their
they're
hair's
models
flowing.
and they're
I don't know
probably
what's
not
happening.
running. Yeah.
They're like, barefoot, and I don't know. I'm going to lie to myself and say they only did half a mile, okay?
Probably.
But I know what you mean. Like when it's like that, you come out the other end of it like, oh yeah. This goes for any break, like, or breaking point. It's whether it's a fracture, a full break, or the edge. Like you come out the other side of it, and you don't believe it when you're in it, but you really do come out the other side of it like a rock star.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure like full circle, we're at your retreat ranch. This place is fucking epic. You guys need to come see it if you haven't already been here. And you didn't start with you didn't build every single building at once. It's like you did one thing at a time, and you had the vision and you built it, and you're like, how much bigger can we keep going? It's like it's uncomfortable to buy land and like, oh shit, this vision's huge.
and to take the risk on yourself, you know?
Girl, we did it. We bought the property in 2019. We started building in February of 2020, and then COVID hit. And my husband and I both were unemployed immediately because he's a public speaker. He travels the world doing public speeches for private companies.
Yep.
And I hold space for people in the public. And so we both literally became unemployed. And I just remember going, what did we do? Like, what did we do?
Oh my
I remember
God.
crying and thinking, we bought this 46-acre property. We are contracted with contractors. We have all this stuff happening. We have, like, what are we going to do? I can joke around now, like the president of our bank that we shout out to First Texas Bank because they were the only ones that took a chance on us. And the president came by after like a year of like, okay, we didn't quite lose our they didn't have to repo us. And I remember him coming and seeing all the progress we did. And we're like, so when COVID hit, what did you think? And he goes, I thought I bought 46 acres for our bank. Like he thought that basically they were going to have to take it over. Yeah, because we both became unemployed. There was no income. We were just relying on our savings at that point because, anyway. Yeah. And so, yeah, you're right. We didn't open the way we thought we would. We opened with the building that we're in right now. We had the dining hall and we had like 2 sleeping structures. That was it. And the yoga deck. And then we just slowly, super slowly, we added like one more thing and then one more thing. And we're building it ourselves versus hiring people, which, I thought was going to be horrible, but it ended up being such a fucking blessing. Again, it's that whole thing. Like we learned so much. We made lots of mistakes, but we learned so much. And we weren't working anyway, I started doing, we both did some virtual things or whatever, but we are both very much in-person people. Like that's just who we are. Yeah. And so we weren't doing a whole lot. And so it was like, pick up a fucking shovel. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like legit, we picked up shovels and chainsaws and you guys. And so we hired people when we didn't know what we were doing or to help them educate us. But we didn't open with everything at all.
That's amazing.
And so it's like just one thing at a time. Yeah. Whatever your dream is, whatever it is, it's that one thing at a time. And challenge yourself in the process because then you'll think bigger and you'll just keep taking more and more bites off of it. Yeah. Whatever it is.
I think that's like, I feel like we can close with that message too, because like I grew up as such a perfectionist, it's like, if it's not perfect, it's not worth it. Yeah. And you obviously have to unlearn that as an entrepreneur. You have to have your first messy draft. You have to take baby steps, even with this podcast, right? With my show, we have 300 episodes, but I was like, I want to go in person. I want to take my show on the road. I want to have you on. And in my mind, I was like, okay, I'm going to get all this podcast equipment, which I did. But then I'm like, what about the full video crew? Yeah. And I know it's kind of crazy, but I was like, I wanted full video and audio production right off the bat. Yeah. Like, I'm not ready. I need this. I need this. I need this. And then I'm like, Sam, you are literally never going to do this if you don't just buy the fucking podcast equipment and just start. And leverage. I mean, we're filming on the iPhone. Shout out iPhone, Like and I'm like, I'm going to make this work until it's big enough that it's justifiable to hire a full video team and to grow. And it's like, it's so humbling because you're just like, fuck, you want to be farther along than you are in that journey, But it's like, if you don't take the first step, you're never going to build a vision. If you didn't build your first structure, you would have never built this whole fucking like complex,
No, you're right.
This whole community. And I know that you speak to a lot of entrepreneurs. Obviously I do too. And people that are building something or creating something. And when they see people that have already achieved a certain level of success, or like you have this whole thing, right? It's so easy to go into comparison of, how am I going to do this whole thing when I'm at zero? And it's like, don't. What's the first step?
That's the very first step. And I'm a big believer, especially if you are prone to being very influenced by what other people are doing, shut it off then. Yeah. Stop looking.
Mute people.
Shut it off. Mute it. Yeah. Get rid of it. Focus on your dream. Tap into your body. Harness what you've got inside of you and take that one fucking step. Is it just the one email you have to first send? Is it just the one person you're going to call? Is it the one event you're going to create and just an hour event or whatever it is? Like, just take that one step. Yeah. And then literally the next step will open up for you. Yes. It will open up.
Yes. That's what's happening in real time with my agency. I mean, I had no idea. I didn't tell you this, but within starting it, claiming it, buying the domain, I had 7 proposals out the door in like 10 days.
Amazing.
I didn't have a team. I had no idea how I was going to execute on the promise in the proposal. I had people paying me a lot of money. And I was like, oh, fuck. No, I got to build a team.
Now I got to put this together.
I'm like, shit. But that's what lit the fire, right?
Yes.
And then everything happened. I swear to you, it was like the universe was like, okay,
production team, project manager,
Yes.
designer, this, and everyone was just like, oh, I have a person for you. I have a person for you. I didn't even like, it's not that I didn't effort, but it felt like I went first and the universe showed the fuck up,
Yes.
you know? And like, you just got to do that.
And the same thing happened here.
Yeah.
Honestly, when we opened and then people just kept booking, and we had shit when we opened, in my opinion, when I look at it from what we have today, it was like, why did you book us? Like,
You're like, are you sure?
Why did you book us? Because I host retreats here, but most of the time other people are hosting here, right? Because I don't host 52 weeks out of the year. And so it was like, why would you book my place? I have like 3 things here for you. Yeah. And then it was like, as they came, they're like, oh, this would be nice. And I'm like, let's make it happen. And so it was like every booking, I got a little bit of that funds and invested it in something else. And it just kept showing up, and they kept showing up, and they kept showing up. And so, claim it, own it, take that one step.
I love this.
Me too.
Okay, so we have to end on what are we each going to do to get outside of our discomfort zone, or be in our discomfort zone if we're not already?
I'm challenging myself, and so I'll claim it here because I haven't said it yet, and I'm going to be putting myself out there more. I've kind of hidden behind my brand, and done. I just haven't put myself, literally my face, my videos, my voice, myself, in that cringy hi, let me teach you something or share something with you space, and I'm going to do it. And so that's super uncomfortable. It's not uncomfortable for me to talk and for us to do things. It's uncomfortable for me to get in front of a camera and say, let me tell you a little bit about XYZ and not feel cringy.
Well, I love it. Well, now I'm glad that this is happening.
This is cringy for me, but I love it. So,
ooh, this is good. I feel like right now I need to have my own answer, because I'm like asking you. I'm like, shit, what am I gonna do? Because right now I feel like I am in my discomfort zone in a lot of places.
Well, this is
with
it.
The
then.
house, my show, my agency, just like we're taking action. But I would say, to echo what you're talking about, I have been working on visibility and being seen for the past like 5 years, but it's like next level. The thing that I'm really claiming is like being on very big stages, like tens of thousands of people stages. Like,
I talk to my husband. That's what he does.
Okay, cool. Perfect. See, look, breadcrumb.
See? But that's what he does.
I know, since I was a kid, like I was like, I want to have a TV show. This is, to me, is like a TV show, to be honest. Yeah. But I'm like, I want to have a show. I want to be on stage. It's so easy for me. I fucking love it. I can light up a crowd. It's fun. And so that's my bold claim, is like, I have my team. I basically am being acquired by Voice of Visibility as a client.
Yes.
And they're going to push me out as the talent and pitch me to places. So I'm claiming that by the time that I'm here next, you'll be doing that and I'll be doing this.
I love it. I love it. This is awesome.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm so glad I've got to do this today.
I know, me too.
Thank
you so much. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And you guys go to the retreat ranch.
Come on. Get out here.
I love it. Cool. Well, till next time.
Till next time, babe.
All right.
Bye. Bye.